Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series for the 19th of November, 1983. And it is a interesting time of in the territory. Lots of new people coming in over the next month or so. And some things coming to a head. Jim Neidhart and Butch Reed against Tony Torres and Weingroff. And I can't think of his first name at the moment. But anyway, they are challenging, and they are your tag team champions, R. Reed and Neidhart. So an interesting team there. I'm not necessarily sure I agree with putting the tag team championships on them, but then again, at that time I would have been about 2 years old, so I don't think asking me would have mattered anyway. Big hip toss by Weingroff, and Reed kind of is a guy who's been in and out. Enhancement guy who really doesn't ever become a great deal, but at the same time, Reed up and over and gets drop kicked in the face by Torres, and kind of it's there, and tag off to Neidhart. Neidhart comes in. Neidhart more the power guy. Not that Reed is not power by any stretch, but if you had to have one or the other, Neidhart is the bigger power guy. Neidhart manages a body slam and pretty aggressively goes after Butch Reed. Butch Reed manages to get a hook in, and ultimately tries to kind of ground and pound his adversary with a headlock, and then we kind of see Reed tag off. Torres comes in. Torres grabs a side headlock on Butch Reed. Butch Reed, of course, former North American champion, tag team champion, other things, and then you see the back elbow by Neidhart and Reed double team as tag team champions often do. Neidhart swings his opponent up to his shoulder and hits that back Samoan drop there that he's kind of become more infamous for. I did not know he used the move as a finish, but learning it here. Maybe I'm just so used to his WWF and other stuff that it's there. Go against Mike Jackson and Randy Barber, 2-on-1, and the one is Nikolai Volkov. Volkov says he can take on any two men in the area, and he is willing to do so. We also stand for the Russian national anthem here, and again, a 2-on-1 for Volkov continues to cement him as a guy who needs to be, perhaps, or at least wants to be at the top of his game. We see both of the, babyface enhancement talents double teaming Nikolai Volkov, but not even this is enough. Mainly punches. I mean, Volkov doesn't do a lot, so it's not like you're going to bump him all over the place. Plus, at his size, it's not really worth it. An attempted double pin, and Volkov able to knock his adversaries off everywhere. And then we see him hit a big kick into the face mush of Jackson. Jackson manages a kick there and ultimately manages to go kind of around the corner, around the bend, and double pins both guys. Special video look at Hacksaw Duggan. Duggan cleaning house on DiBiase, getting rid of DiBiase, and the brawling between the two of them, the interference. Duggan basically says he wants to be back at the top of the area, and we kind of see him go around and defend the flag, so to speak. He takes Boris Zukov out in this video package. Basically, we're rehyping, almost like a returning Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Magnum TA in Wrestling 2 versus Vines and Sword. And obviously, these are enhancement talents. Of course, the coaching relationship between Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA is in full swing. They have not, I don't think they've shot the vignette yet, but they're coming. Hip toss and an arm drag by Wrestling 2, tag off to TA. TA hits the drop kick and goes to work on the arm of Vines. Vines gets rolled up and rolled through with several arm bars and wrist locks by Wrestling 2 for the next little while. And again, kind of seeing things go in accordance with a plan here. Wrestling or TA not, terribly overwhelmed by anything. TA manages to tie things up, and again, we see the regular tags, consistent tags there. Wrestling 2 also manages to get some arm bars on the adversary, and again, Vines kind of going, rather assertively, aggressively at this whole thing. Work on the arm continues for several more minutes. TA manages to do everything he can do to get things going in a positive direction. Tag off to Wrestling 2. Wrestling 2 works the arm of Sword over for a little bit, and then ultimately we see a win for TA and Wrestling 2. TA uses the belly-to-belly suplex that he even greater becomes known for. Larry Higgins and Art Cruz up next. Kind of a, I don't know, I'd say a throwaway match, but certainly not a match that has an abundance of people who are going to, be in charge here. Cruz has been an enhancement talent in the area for longer than Higgins. Higgins probably has a little more power. Cruz a little more finesse. Cruz with a series of arm drags and stays on his adversary there for a bit. We kind of see him bring the man in the hard way, does Cruz, from the outside in, and then Cruz shoots the arm lock, arm roll, kind of tries to pull a half, and again, there we go with the nature of everything, as it were, and ultimately gets some ride time, some wrestle time, so to speak. Higgins uses the size advantage, tries to drive the man into his knee. Hard shots and chops by adversary there. Side headlock by the benefit there, and again we kind of see some side headlocks that are pretty assertive, aggressive, and again we kind of go through Higgins having a bit of an advantage, cross body though by Cruz. Cruz not willing to quit, and the match goes on this way for several more minutes. Cruz comes out ahead until, again, the size and vertical base of Higgins takes over. Cruz manages to slide off the shoulder on a body slam, almost a Botchamania style moment. If I didn't know better, maybe I'm a little jaded because I've seen so many botches. Don't really know. Cruz manages a backdrop and then does the old jumping bell ringer spot and goes for the cover and a 2 count there. Roll up by Cruz attempted. Higgins comes back off the corner and drops the elbow rather sloppily, and believe it or not, wins a match with an elbow drop. Weird. Anyway, John King and Leaping Lanny Poffo. Poffo's been around for a couple of weeks now, and again, this feels more like a pre-holiday pump deal. Anyway, Poffo has proven to be decent on the mat, getting some ride time, holding things down. Of course, Poffo, Lanny Poffo, the brother of Randy Savage, the son of Angelo Poffo, and known for his mat deal, as most second-generation people are. Poffo goes for the side headlock, grabs that, sticks with that, nip up and over the hip, and, kind of rolls through that way. And then ultimately hard shots by the need for ultimately um, King, and King manages to wear down Poffo a little bit. Poffo not terribly intimidated though and continues his assault. Short knee by Poffo, actually a series of them, and he tries to find a place to plant his adversary. Uses the ropes, jumps over the top rope, and does the old rope across the throat spot that his brother does, leaping deal after a win, and we see the use of, I believe, what we come to know as the moonsault here to finish things off, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, just a slingshot splash this time around. As I had noted, his use of the moonsault in previous deals here. Paul Garner and Crusher Darso up next. And obviously a decent enough series. Of course, only a couple of losses for Darso since coming into the territory. He's been pretty assertive, aggressive, and the like. And again, we kind of see Darso using more power, also holding on to the arm a bit further, harder to slam, although Darso with a slam that's pretty easy because he's power dominant, and again trying to hold him off. And then we see a bear hug by Darso and snaps his man out of the corner, rakes the boot across the eyes, and then gets the backbreaker that Mike Sharp used to use up across the shoulders. Highlights of Dr. Death and Bobby Duncombe Jr., I believe, from Houston, although I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe that was why Duncombe was used earlier. Slides out of the Bulldog, does Williams with several shoulder tackles, football tackle style. Then he manages to herc his man up and hit the Oklahoma Stampede right in the middle. Williams has been protected extremely well and continues to be, no matter where he is, gets a victory there. Road Warriors discuss the fact that there is not enough competition in the tag team division. Your interviewer is Jim Ross. Basically, Road Warriors say they can take over any team they want. They were in the National Tag Team Championships, which I believe are from Georgia at the time. And we close with that interview here at almost Thanksgiving time. The next week is the post-Thanksgiving, I believe, edition of Mid-South. We'll continue with more right after this.